You know what time it is, Makeshift Winter Marblympics Event 6. It's the bobsleigh. This track has been made entirely from toilet roll, and we're very proud that we've managed to resist the urge to call this event the bogsleigh. Wahahaha! Our 16 teams will have one chance to set the fastest time they can around this track. As well as testing how fast they are, we'll also be testing how closely they stick together. So we'll be timing how long it takes them to complete the track, but we'll also be adding the time difference between the first and final marble across the finish line. Brazil get us underway here, and they've started off very nicely. They're sticking pretty tightly together, but they begin to separate a little bit along the chicanes, still holding it together fairly well, especially around this difficult spiral section, and it's a strong finish, and I think that'll be a good time. There we go, their track time plus their time difference between the first and last marble across the line added together gives them a time just over 12 seconds. Straight onto our second team, Mexico. What can they offer? They've struggled in this tournament so far, and they've struggled to even get started here. They've managed to build up some pace after that slow start, but I think they've had a bit of a knock. That marble's really lagging behind and will cost them time. With nearly 1.5 seconds to add on, that's not going to trouble anyone there from Mexico. Or should I say, Mex is slow. When you get off to such a stuttered start as that, you just know it's Nacho Day. Japan still haven't earned a single point in this tournament so far, and they've got just 3 events left to pick up enough points to qualify for the qualifiers to qualify for next summer's games. They're doing very well here though, sticking in a nice tight formation, and it looks pretty quick too. Actually, it's not going to be as quick as Brazil or Mexico, but they stuck together so well they are going to take the lead with a combined timing of 11.95 seconds. If you thought that was tight, just look at this formation from Vatican City. You couldn't fit a razor between them. They're pretty slow though, and oh, they haven't started yet. Now they have, and I must be some kind of prophet. These marbles are so close together it's almost as if it's one marble expressed in 4 persons. But just as I said that, one of them began to backslide and never caught up. And that's going to hamper them. It wasn't a bad time, but too much separation puts them 3rd out of 4 so far. Next up is supposed to be Vietnam, but they're a marble short. Their 4th marble still held up in that personal injury hearing. Tyrannosaurus is really letting rip. Oh heavens, things are turning ugly. Someone needs to call the court sheriff. It looks like they're getting things under control now. Ooh, what an ordeal that was. Well, I think we'll let Vietnam settle down a while and have their run later. In the meantime, we'll skip straight on to Germany. Sie haben einen starken Start hingelegt. Sehr enge Verstehe die erste Ecke und Schikanen. Präzision, wie wir sie noch nie gesehen haben. Das nenne ich Vorsprung durch Technik. Es ist super schnell und super eng. Mit 11.5 und 6 Sekunden stürmen sie in einen durchschlagenden Vorsprung. Wenn jemand zu schlecht schlägt, ist meinen Hut. En puhu so mehr. This looks like it'll be another tight run. The competition's really heating up here and we're only 6 teams in. They lose it slightly around the spiral, separating a little bit, and that does cost them. 12.08 seconds only good enough for 3rd so far, behind Germany and Brazil. Oh, look at that cute tiger. And you know what cute tiger rhymes with? Cute tiger, new subscriber. And that could be you, our newest subscriber. Click that red button now and join us at Makeshift Marble Runs. This has not been pretty from China. They've ended well, but they struggled early on, and that's left them with a 12.41 overall, and I don't think they'll be competing for points today. Canada started this tournament very well, but they've struggled of late. They'll need to pick up some big points here if they still want to compete for this championship. After a messy start, they regroup well through the chicanes, and that is lovely round the spiral. A bit of separation at the end there, and that's going to cost them dearly. A pretty decent time, but a lack of discipline at the end there. If they'd have just held on for those last few seconds, they'd be looking at top 2. But instead they slipped behind Brazil by just 1/100th of a second. So this is how things look at the halfway stage. If you're enjoying this event, then great. We've got 8 more runs coming up for you now. If you're not enjoying this event, then don't worry. We've only got 8 more runs until it's over. Botswana have already got pretty separated here, and it's only getting worse for them. Not a bad finishing time, but they really didn't work well as a team and they're adding 1.24 seconds onto that time. That puts them just above Mexico with next to no hope of getting any points today. Congo have found some really good form lately. They come into this event off the back of 2 consecutive bronze medals. They've started very sprightly, particularly that front marble, but the rest of them need to make sure they keep up. They seem to be doing so far, and it's going to be a good finish and a good time. They even managed a bit of overtaking on the spiral there. I don't know if that was quick thinking after a mistake or simply showboating, but either way 11.95 matches Japan and they join them in second place as things stand. Colombia have been cautiously but consistently picking up points and currently sit third in the table. They've thrown caution to the wind here though. That's an erratic start. They're even overtaking each other. They've settled down a bit now and this is lovely running. They handle the spiral well but just lose it at the end. Another run with a quick time but lack of discipline. Some good bobsleigh in there from Colombia but just a bit too rough at the beginning and the end. Next up is the USA, where of course this is called a bobsled. But you're in Britain now baby, so get yourself down to the garage, open up those aluminium shutters and pull out your bobsleigh ready for some nice leisure activities. Well, they started this run like a missile, but after this they failed to make good enough progress along this route. Perhaps they should have had a special vitamin yogurt made from tomato, basil and other produce to give them enough energy to go around this course a little bit quicker. Well, it's time for the next team on our schedule, and it's Uzbekistan. It's a very quick start from them, not very well coordinated, just sheer unadulterated speed. There's quite a gap developing between first and fourth, and they're going to be relying on a very quick time. Which is precisely what they get. Goodness me, 10.78 track time, with an overall total of 11.5 seconds. That puts them into first place and knocks poor old Germany into second. It's nice to see this Vietnam team reunited once again, although I think they'd want to be a little bit more reunited than this. And they've gone from one extreme to the other, crashing into each other on that spiral. In the replay we see they start off too far apart, but then they come together and that final marble always comes to a halt. They finish with a good track time, but that massive separation means that they'll be way down the league table. Just 2 more nations to bring you, and first up it's Indonesia. They're off to a decent start, building some good momentum and a nice bit of speed around that corner. A little bit disjointed, but they've got time to correct that if they keep this going. They can't, unfortunately. It's not a bad track time, but another run with over 1 second of separation. It all fell apart for them when they ran into trouble on the spiral, or rather they ran into each other, and that just separated them far too much. Last up is Norway, and I can feel it. This is the moment Norway finally breaks the shackles of their underachieving and takes these Winter Marblympics by storm. It's looking... well, I'm not sure you're allowed to do that. The officials are just taking some time to review the footage and make a decision. Luckily the marble did land back on the track without injuring themselves, but unluckily that will go down as an incomplete run and Norway are disqualified from this event. Well, what a way to end the bobsleigh. Ooh, there's a sound we haven't heard for a while, the national anthem of Uzbekistan, today's gold medalist. Congratulations to Germany, who came so close to the gold. And in joint third place, Congo with their 3rd consecutive bronze. And how about Japan winning their first points of these games along with their first medal with a fantastic performance. You can see all the points won by the top 8 teams in this event. And now let's see how that affects the overall scores. Germany and Congo move up to 3rd and 4th respectively on joint points, but separated by medals won. Japan lift themselves off the bottom, but they're certainly not out of trouble yet. We've got just 2 events left to bring you in these games, and next up it's ice hockey. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope you join us next time too. Cheerio!